Carillo. I play lead tenor steel drum, or what's known as a steel pan or pan. And I also play double seconds, double tenors, but I'm primarily a lead singer. So I'm a percussionist who sings. People ask me, where did I learn how to play steel drums? I always say, I learned on a small, little, tiny, remote island known as California State University, Long Beach, when I was working on my classical music degree in composition. I was a percussionist, and Dr. Carney, the now very famous steel drum player, Dr. Carney, I was there when he bought his first set of steel drums, and we had like half dozen of them, and sat them on the floor after getting them from the docks, and kind of looked at them and said, what now, So I played in the steel drum orchestra, which at that time was about, I think, 15 pieces. That orchestra is now over 100 pieces over at Cal State Long Beach, one of the premier orchestras on the West Coast, if not the premier steel drum orchestra. What I remember, honestly, is I love the instrument so much. I love the sound of that instrument. And the funny thing is I was so honed in on working on my degree at the time that I kind of parked it and went, I'll get back to this instrument in a year or two. I'm going to hone in on some other stuff. But in the meantime, I gathered money and I bought an instrument for $2,000 from the famous maker, Patrick Arnold. Yeah. That's the most common question is, where did the instrument come from? In fact, when I perform, I always try to, even in a drunken bar situation, I will actually ask that question to the audience, and I'll say it right now. I'll say, if there's one thing I want you to know about this drum, there's one thing you walk away from today, that is, the drum is not from Jamaica, it's not from Hawaii, it's from Trinidad and Tobago. The small island of Trinidad and Tobago, that area down there. I thought it was from Jamaica for like the first year of playing it, so it's a very misunderstood origins. It is the pride of Trinidad and Tobago. This drum is on their currency as we speak. Whenever I'm around the few Trinidadians that are even out here on the West Coast, they always make it a point to come up to me and go, do you know where that drum is from? And I always tell them, like, yes, it's from Trinidad, and much respect, And they're like, it's not from Jamaica. I know that. It's from Trinidad, and I tell everyone. How did it get on over here? That's a discussion that's of debate, okay? But one of the most common ways it got here, or it got to the mass populace, if you will, is Harry Belafonte. There was a big bossa nova boom and Afro-Caribbean boom during the mid to late 50s, and Harry Belafonte was on the forefront of that. He brought over a lot of music from all the islands, a lot of Jamaican music. One of his most famous songs is Jamaican Farewell, an old folk song. So people thought, oh, it's Jamaican Farewell. I hear a steel drum in the background. The steel drum must be from Jamaica, when in fact it's actually from Trinidad. But that's one of the people that brought it on over. And once again, there's a lot of debate on that. If you want to get to real specifics, there were some specific bands that came on over, that were brought on over to the East Coast. Some even made their way on over to San Francisco. I don't know the details right off the top of my head, but for the popular vote there, when it really made it into what I would say people's living rooms, Harry Belafonte was very instrumental in that. Religious ties, man, that's a tough one because the poor country has just been beat up many, many times. Revolution after revolution, the people, it's no secret that they've been suppressed. I mean, Trinidad leads per capita HIV, infected people per capita. I mean, out of the whole world, they're in the top 3%. It's a very, very awful situation going on over there. Just with that, inherently what I just said, the drum and carnival is a source of pride. It's more than pride. It's a lifestyle. It's hope for the people. It's a collective hope. I met people from Trinidad that have been on over here who, when they speak of carnival, they cry. They cry, So whether that's a formalized religion or not, I see the whole thing as one big spiritual outlet through the drum. The drum is incredibly respected. To speak about what specific religions, they've got quite a combination of religions down there. Everything from Christian religions, it was conquered by the French, Protestants, Rastafarians, and I'll just say it really quickly. I am no authority on it. There's lots of stuff online, but the religion of steel drum of itself is a religion now. If you have a chance, just Google Carnival steel drums just for 2010, 2009, and it should pretty much blow your mind what you'll see. Yeah, the band is called Steel Parade. And before this interview, I actually was like, wanting to get really clear on this. This May will be the 19th year I've been leading and singing this band full time. When I say full time, that means I have no other source of income. I'm not a trust fund baby. You know, we live sometimes on a shoestring budget, and other times we've actually really had a really happy, cushy existence, if the truth be known. All my other players right now are all full-time musicians. I tend to attract full-time musicians. The band is made up, I'll start from the bottom on up, drum set, like a traditional drum set, bass guitar, steel drum, and percussion. And a percussionist. It's a requirement that everyone in this band sing. It's not an option. Everyone sings. Yeah, well, I'll go back to it this way. People say, who do you play for? And I always say, this is the description if I meet somebody. I go, have you seen the movie The Wedding Singer? That's basically who I am. That's basically, for lack of a better description, it's The Wedding Singer. If you've seen that movie, you know. Except I'm playing for the opening of the Staples Arena, or a private party for J-Lo or Kobe Bryant or whatever at his house. But nevertheless, it's still kind of like a wedding, playing somewhere for a private group of people. And I'm just kind of singing and people are having a good time. I stopped teaching there because I actually feel more effective as just an individual helping people one-on-one. So I'm not formally teaching students, but I have mentored a few particular people. And when I say mentor, assist. I have two or three people now that are under the age of 30 they're all full-time musicians, and they just did what I told them to do. So from an art standpoint in teaching, I like to teach and offer what I consider real tools and real independence, so that they can actually sustain themselves as an actual artist, which is, you know, the belief system, the common mindset is that you can't. But you can. You just have to think differently. And you have to make some adjustments, and you can't buy into all the illusions that the music business holds up. That's a good question. In other words, you know, how do you do the balance? And, you know, I'm a numbers type of guy. And it's all about timing to me. If you were to go see us perform, you would hear, if you saw a 30-song set, there would be 10 songs that you definitely know. Like, oh, I know that song. There would be 10 others that you think you know, which would probably be our originals, and then there would be 10 others that you don't know, which would be traditional Caribbean steel drum tunes. And I tend to run the rotations on our sets. I make up the sets as we go along. We have a bulk of 75 tunes, and I pull them out and count them off at tempos that I believe will fit the room at that moment. I never have a prescribed set. That's why the musicians have to be good, because one night we might play the set this way and the tempo's at a certain tempo, and the next night completely reverse, or a song we haven't played in 3 weeks at a burning fast tempo, because to me that's what the room's feeling. But the one thing that I always keep in mind is that I'm always doing traditional, original, cover. Traditional, original, cover. Every so often I'll do 2 covers in a row, but I'll usually follow it up with 2 traditional tunes in a row. Not only does it just work musically, I feel like I kind of, at this kind of spiritual level, I kind of have to do it. And I love it when people come on up to me and go, man, that was a great song. I love that song. Can I get a recording of it? And blah, blah, blah. And I tell them, well, actually, that's a traditional steel drum tune that was part of the Panorama competition in 1994. You can come over here and I'll hip you and give you the link. And now you've just enjoyed, and you're going to download something from a place you've never heard, but you understand it now at this kind of intrinsic level. I think if I would have set it up that way, that people might not be so open to it. So we sneak it in.
Once again, I'll explain the pan a little bit, the steel drum. For you music nerds out there, this is one octave, this is the next octave, and this is the next octave. It's set up in a circle of fifths, and it's set up in the Western way, meaning that conveniently the nice key of C, middle C, is right in front of me, and the ugly key of C sharp is out of my way. So C, G, F are right here. This is one octave, this is the next octave, this is the next. So forth, so I can go. It has all 12 tones, like I said. Just like if you went up all the notes on a piano. And when I first got this instrument, when we first get these instruments, we write with the erasable marker the notes, and we practice our scales just like any other instrument. Then it evolves like. Play some the kiddies like. Let's see. Well, let's see what else. Do you remember this? Seaweed is always greener, somebody else's lake. You dreamed about going up there, but that is a big mistake. Just take all a look around you, right here on the ocean floor. Such wonderful things surround you. What more is you looking for? Under the sea, under the sea. Darling, it's better down where it's wetter naturally. Up on the shore they work all day, out in the sun they slave away. Life is no problem down in this bottom under the sea.